What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Behind me I have the Crack Hawk. Beside me I've got a Najar off-road. And we're gonna continue to work on this thing today, right?
Yeah, we're working on the turbo right now, trying to get that set in place. So. You've already been doing some stuff, show 'em.
Yeah, we got a big old snail on here, but she ain't on the truck. So plan is, if you guys watched the last video, we got the manifolds in place, we got our crossover pipe fabbed up, and we've only got, geez, we only got just over a week now. Yeah. It's Thursday right now. We got to be out of here by not the coming Tuesday, but the following Tuesday.
Yep.
So we don't have much room to work with right here in the front. So you can see here, this is where the Hooker Blackheart manifolds come out, our turbo manifolds. And if we just try to put a just standard mandrel bent 90 in there, we get into our fan, get into our radiator, all that stuff. So what I started to do before grabbing the camera was we started cutting out some ply sections. So this way I can make a much tighter radius and I can achieve a 90 degree in this small little elbow. So right now what I gotta do is start TIG welding all this stuff together, but this is gonna get us out of the manifold into a 90, and then I think we're gonna use that pipe that John just had his hand on. Once it comes out of our tight 90 right here, then it's gonna start to come up and towards this direction. We haven't fully decided where and how we want to put the turbo, but we know we at least got to get over in this general area, so we'll get that made up. And he's got the V-band there, so we'll put the V-band on the stuff that's behind me, then that'll go on, that'll get us up into this area, and then we'll see how and where we want to mount the turbo. But we're waiting for parts, so Amazon Prime is coming to the rescue as always, but we got some parts on the way for this build that's going to help us get the rest of it situated. Okay, so welded this up. I think we need one more pie because we're almost a 90, but I think we want to go even further than 90 degrees. So anyways, kind of tacked it together. You can see the shape we got going on there. But like I said, we're gonna chop one more pie shape out of this, kick it out a little bit more. That way, when it's in here, it will come a little bit more over to us because we don't want to be just coming straight out of there. Otherwise, you can see the pipe will be really close to everything still. I think we want it to kind of be on a bit of an angle towards the back of the vehicle. All right, boys. Well, we might have got slightly distracted. A bunch of parts showed up. Our intercooler should be in the box there. Plus, we got a bunch of stuff. Our gaskets showed up. Some hardware, turbo fittings. We've got flanges for our wastegates, couplings, maybe some belts, accessory belts. We'll see if either one of these lengths will work because we had to measure it out. Got couplings as well for our radiator hoses, a radiator hose, oil drain tubes, all kinds of stuff. So I think first things first, let's get the intercooler out of the box. We'll see how we plan to maybe map this out and see if we're gonna be able to make it go behind our headlights like we're hoping. Okay, so check it out. Good news, bad news. Good news is the intercooler fits back there perfectly. Bad news is this intercooler is garbage. Gabbage, as Dennis might say if he was finally here with the steaks. Okay, so John's gonna grab that. I'll show you guys what I mean. Hopefully I can show you guys. So this is just a, cheap intercooler, and this is why you don't go too cheap. I don't know if you guys can see that. Look at like the fins in there. You can see with the light. Look at all those fins are like bent over. Like that is not gonna flow. And even more so than that, definitely risks having one of those little chunks of metal fly in your engine. And it's not just on one side, it's on both sides. So you could, like, look at that one piece. It's like folded completely over there. So yeah, you can maybe get away with it, but there ain't no telling if one of those chunks of metal decides to fly off and go right into your engine. So this is garbage. So on to plan B. We gotta try and order a legit one. This is tube and fin instead of bar and plate, the construction of it. And yeah, this one is just super, super low quality. So even though me and John really want to put this thing on right now, it's probably not a smart idea to do. All right, well, I apologize in advance, you guys, but I got into one of my modes where I just got things done. So ended up getting our turbo mounted, you guys. So I had to make a series of pie cuts through here. Everything's just tacked. I got to take this thing off and fully weld it. I'm kicking myself because I dented this by accident, and it is literally the part that you see most, but I don't know. I probably end up putting our O2 sensor maybe here just since this is just getting me. You guys know how I'm like super OCD, but the pie cuts came out really nice. Got it through here. Obviously you can see I can stick my hand all through here. It clears the frame nice. So we had to come through this shape. So our V-band clamps on there, and then everything clears in the back here. I've got our oil feed line that reaches all the way to the back. Waiting on one fitting for our drain line so that we can connect that. Everything has to come all off anyways, because like I said, I got to get the gaskets in there. But I'm super happy. Our mock-up is working great. I ended up ordering a different intercooler and different piping, since this obviously was all in one, the intercooler and the piping. So we've got a better intercooler coming. We've got another set of piping. This is going to get returned, and then the intercooler that I got is actually bigger, so it should fit all right here. And then we're gonna come through here. We'll probably have to cut some section out here, and you can see this is gonna work perfectly. So our turbo outlet will be here, come across, go over there, deal with that after. As far as everything else, originally I kind of wanted to have the hot side here, and I was gonna come out the side of the fender here with the exhaust, but it just worked out better this way, you guys, that we do it this way. So what I'm thinking is, depending on how much time we have, I might either just do like, you know, run no hood and just do a 90 straight up for now. But ultimately what I would like to do is build the exhaust here. It's gonna come around here and then come out the fender over there. So probably end up moving the fuse box, maybe a little over here, whatnots, but either way, it's gonna fit beautifully here and wrap and come out of there. So that's that for you. Anyways, let me take this off, weld this up solid. This is still killing me. If you guys are wondering why I was like this pipe as it came through was not a perfect circle, and I was trying to kind of squeeze the pipe a little bit. I completely wasn't paying attention to this side of it, and as I squeezed here, it completely dented in the visible portion. So trust me, you guys, I've already beat myself up enough about it, but again, it is a 30-day build. It is what it is. It's not going to affect performance whatsoever, but it's just funny because it's literally the first thing you see when you look at this, and the piping looks really, really good otherwise. And the other thing too is afterwards I'm going to end up doing some bracing to the head, because having this big thing, you know, suspended by this, it would be maybe prone to cracking, having this much weight hanging off it. So we'll end up going from here to, there's a couple nice bolt holes here on the head so that we can make some bars that go across to hold this sucker. But I got a lot of welding ahead of me, so let me take this off, weld this up solid, and then we'll continue. Also, I'm gonna put the wastegate hole in the bottom, so we'll put the flange for the wastegate down here, so that'll be nice and hidden, and go from there. All right guys, so this welder is not as good as my last TIG welder. Again, if you guys have been watching a lot of my footage, this is just a straight up no-name welder, TIG welder. So this just goes to show you, you can get this kind of stuff done, you guys. I think this was only like $200-300 if you want to buy one of those. But getting it done, one of the things is I do have some really expensive gas lenses, like Furic cups, but they don't fit this torch, so I'm left using this. This does not give us as good of results as I can normally get with my gas lenses that I have in there, but either way, it's like I said, I'm still learning. I don't pretend to be or claim to be any weld expert, but it's coming out pretty good. And also, in a perfect world, if you wanted those super like rainbow colored welds, you would back purge it, do all that, you know, all the good stuff. But anyway, she's solid. There's a couple spots I want to, you know, touch up, but I'm kind of not trying to superheat this. You can also see I have the V-band on here with another flange just so it doesn't warp. And you guys will see, I don't know if I really say anything about it, but I've had this vise for probably 6 months, and I finally decided to put it to use. Everybody's always giving me heck for working on the floor, so there you go. There's my vise. But what I want to do while that guy cools off is I want to put this up in the air, take off our crossover pipe. That way I can actually remove the manifolds. The reason why I want to take those off is so that we can get our gaskets in. Those showed up, so put the gaskets on, then we can put our hardware on, and hopefully those don't have to come off. And then a few other things showed up. So we got a blow-off valve. So there's that. I'm gonna have to weld this onto our intercooler piping once we get that. So we'll be doing a little bit of aluminum welding. And some other stuff did show up as well. So we've got some fittings, we got some new U-bolts for the rear. I have this fitting for the turbo so we can plumb up our turbo as well. So lots of stuff, you guys. So this can go on the end, so it gives us a dash 10. Then we can do our drain. Our feed is pretty much situated. So once we kind of get gaskets on here and get this thing finalized and that back on, we can actually potentially start it with a turbo for the first time. Super exciting. Let's get to it. Truck's up in the air. So if you guys didn't see the last episode where we made this custom crossover pipe, there she is. So she's test fitted, it works. I'm gonna go ahead and take off our V-bands on both sides so that we can take off the manifolds from up above. Also, we can probably connect our line at some point down here. Definitely reaches, and then we will have our feed line for our turbo as well. Okay, so crossover pipe is off. We got our gaskets here, we got some hardware. Let's go ahead, yank these manifolds off. We'll get our gaskets in there, our hardware, and then we can put these back on, and hopefully they don't have to come off for any reason. Just want to show you guys this real quick. So I took the supplied heat wrap and put it around our engine mount just to keep the heat off of our rubber bushing for our engine mount. So that worked out really good. I just cut it to shape, wrapped it around, and I was thinking about maybe putting some steel tie wraps around it, but it's honestly not going anywhere after I form fitted it. So anyways, let's go ahead, put our gaskets on, put the manifold back in. All right, guys, so the manifolds are on, gaskets are on, our hardware's in, they're tight. The crossover pipe isn't on just yet, but you can see it's nighttime outside and actually had to go do some running around. So I want to get this video out for you guys this weekend, and I'll explain why in just a second. So also the piping that goes directly to the turbo is done, but we had to run out just now. I went and bought another trailer. So my buddy Dennis is lending me his open deck trailer, and I also needed one more so that we can potentially bring 4 vehicles to LS Fest and Mo Party this year. So that way the SST can tow the Crackhawk, the Hell Ram will tow the Hell Coda, and I will be there with John at Mo Party and LS Fest this year with all 4 vehicles. So that's the plan. I'll show you guys the trailer. I got a really good price on it, actually. That's why we kind of just dropped everything, ran out there. There's a gentleman that was buying a brand new trailer tomorrow, and he said if this thing doesn't sell by tonight, I'm going to trade it into the dealership and just get whatever they give me for it. So that's pretty much clear indication that the guy was pretty flexible in price. So anyways, we got it. It's all legit, but it does need tires. So I'll share that with you guys in maybe a future vlog or another video here. But anyways, it's late. We're about to eat some food. Not only that, but I also have to run down to Fort Myers area because Drew at Shop Hellcats, he's pretty much done tuning the SST. So I left it, as you guys remember, we left it down there with him for about a week or so. So he's had it, he's dialed it in, he says pretty much ready to go. So I'm actually taking Dennis's trailer first thing in the morning, driving all the way down to Fort Myers, and I'm gonna spend some time with Drew, make sure everything's good, and then we're gonna bring the SST back home. And then this week coming up, like right now I'm recording this on a Friday night, you guys, Friday at like 10 o'clock at night. It's just been hectic, but this week coming up, we have to get the SST ready to tow. We got to put a trailer hitch on it, got to put a trailer brake controller on it so that it can control the brakes on the trailer that we just picked up. And we got to go through the SST, make sure it's all good, shake it all down so that it's actually able to drive 10 hours all the way to Kentucky and then 10 hours all the way back from Kentucky, or it might be 12, something like that. Anyways, it's a long ass drive. But either way, we will be at LS Fest this year and Mo Party with a booth. We're gonna have shirts, all kinds of merch. We're gonna have key tags, stickers, hats, you name it, plus some parts. So if you guys are able to, definitely come by. We'll be there all weekend in Vendors Row. So me and Jonathan will be there. So definitely come say hi and hang out, because we're going to just be chilling and chopping it up with everybody. So definitely come by. I'd love to see you guys. But if you guys enjoyed this video and this build series, give it a thumbs up. I've been driving the boys over a Holly absolutely crazy on this build by getting us parts as fast as possible. So check the link down below where you guys can go over and see all the different parts that you can get for these builds if you guys are doing an LS, because they have crazy amounts of stuff for these platforms. So it's been super fun to be able to do this on a different platform than the usual Hemi stuff. But anyways, we're gonna keep cranking along here. We got a ton of stuff and a ton of news that I haven't even shared with you guys, including what's underneath that cover. So lots of stuff on the way, you guys. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys on the next one.